Good afternoon, everyone. Victorious, they did it. They accomplished what they set out to do. Let's give a huge round of applause to our governor, Andrew Cuomo. Sandra Lee, who's as tough as nails. She did this, Sandra, you did it. We're so proud of you. So happy to have our mayor and Jackie Walker, who we're going to hear from shortly, but I also want to acknowledge some of the other officials here. Senator Tim Kennedy has joined us this afternoon, and Assemblyman Joe Giglio. As I mentioned, Byron Brown, our mayor, who you'll hear from shortly. Paul Deister had dropped by. We said hello to Paul. Also, we have Sam Roberts. Sam, you a little tired there? Where'd Sam go? He's probably taking a nap. There's Sam. Sam did Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. We have many elected officials here today from all over Western New York. We thank you for joining us. I also want to acknowledge CEO and President ECMC, Tom Catroci, and thank them for their mobile mammography unit that screened over 9,000 people. We also have the director of the Susan B. Komen Foundation, Liz Kahn, is here. Liz, how are you? And so many other advocates. And you are here to witness history, ladies and gentlemen, the culmination of the governor's very first ever across-the-state ride for breast cancer awareness. And I want to just tell them, if they want to jump right now in the Lake Erie and cool off, we totally understand. So this is a great place to wrap it up. We're so proud. But what an amazing undertaking. And truly, the genesis of this is this amazing woman, Sandra Lee, who you'll hear from shortly. But for someone who turned a personal health crisis into a personal health triumph, not just for herself, but to be the voice and a sense of hope for people all across the state. I just want to give her one more round of applause. We'll hear momentarily how the governor, going through this process with Sandra, identified certain barriers that perhaps most people were not aware of. Those of us who go routinely, you don't think about how other people may want to do this. They may want to get screened, but they just have too many obstacles. And you'll hear about how New York State has led the way, as we have in so many other areas. The rest of the nation is going to be looking to us once again as a leader in saving lives, and that's something as a New Yorker you should be extremely, extremely proud of. So, let's carry the momentum of the day forward. Let's make sure we stay in touch with our loved ones, make sure they do get screened, and remember, there are no excuses. And with that, it gives me great privilege to bring up my friend, the mayor of the great city of Buffalo, Byron Brown.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Hochul. And thank you and Governor Cuomo for everything you do for the people of Buffalo and Western New York. Let's give our Lieutenant Governor another great big round of applause. And it's certainly my pleasure to welcome Governor Andrew Easy Rider Cuomo and the courageous Sandra Lee back to the city of Buffalo. Right now, we are standing at Canalside, a site which is the symbol of the transformation of the city of Buffalo and Western New York. Our waterfront is back, jobs are back. There is currently $5.6 billion of economic development going on in our city, and we know our best days are ahead. Usually, when Governor Cuomo visits Buffalo, is to announce a new initiative or program which will benefit our city and region, but today the message is a bit different. He and Sandra Lee are here to spread the word that no woman in Buffalo, Western New York, or across the state has a reason not to get screened for breast cancer. Thanks to Governor Cuomo's leadership, breast cancer screenings are more available than ever before in New York State. We have all worked together to ensure they are affordable and free of charge. Buffalo is fortunate to be the home of so many world-class medical institutions that every day make groundbreaking strides in the battle to prevent and defeat cancer. We know that building stronger communities begins with building healthy ones. And that's why we've worked to make our city more walkable, more bikeable, and with more open spaces like beautiful Canal Side where we are today. Health must be a priority. Let's be smart and carry this message forward as a community to ensure that everyone knows how important it is to get screened. Governor Cuomo and Sandra Lee, I want to congratulate you on reaching the greatest end of the state. And certainly, thanks to your great leadership and partnership, one of the fastest growing economies in our state on your breast cancer ride. Thank you for your advocacy, your hard work, and long ride to deliver this life-saving message. It's now my privilege to recognize a woman who needs no introduction here in the Queen City, a woman who has a personal connection to breast cancer because she fought it and won. From WIVB TV, the Dean of Anchors, the Dean and Queen of Anchors in Buffalo, Jackie Walker.
Thank you for that. Thank you for adding that Queen part there. I appreciate it. And you know, I'm sitting up here next to the governor. It occurs to me that with all the changes that have come here at Canal Side, I hope he and Sandra are looking out at all the folks doing yoga out there right now. That is a beautiful sight to see next to the water here. I'm here today wearing two hats, and one is my longtime position as news anchor and reporter for News 4. I have been sending back live reports, but I will tell you, I'm going to miss my live shot at 6 o'clock. I'm sorry about that. I also have sent back the governor's remarks, which he has made along the way today about the violence that we've had this week in our nation. He made extensive comments about that in Utica, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. But you will be seeing the Peace Bridge lit in red, white, and blue under one of his initiatives, recognizing what we've been through this week. But the second hat that I'm wearing today is as a breast cancer survivor and an advocate for breast cancer screening. I know we have a lot of breast cancer survivors here today, and each one of us has a very personal story. Good for you, and congratulations to us all. It's a hard battle. We all have personal stories about how cancer has changed our lives, and it does change your life. There's no question about it. But the point is, we all want to have a life after cancer, and the key is to catch it as soon as possible. My story is that I was vigilant about getting mammograms after age 40 every year, and every year my mammogram was fine until one day in October of 2014 when it wasn't. I will always be grateful to Dr. Ermelinda Bonaccio of Roswell Park for her skill and her compassion when she discovered something wrong on my mammogram. In one of my many conversations with the staff at Roswell during my treatment, I learned that there is a real effort underway these days to reach out to women who are not having mammograms for a variety of reasons. Women can't afford to take time off work. Many women don't have health insurance. Some don't have anyone to watch their children. Others don't have transportation. My understanding of the legislation that was just passed in Albany and signed by the governor, it will help eliminate some of these problems, particularly the need to take time off work and the need for a babysitter by immediately extending the hours at hospitals and clinics. And it also eliminates the cost of co-pays for mammograms starting in January. So this bill had the support of both Republicans and Democrats, and no matter where you stand on the political spectrum, I think we can all agree It is important to do what we can to improve the lives of women and men. As I said, each one of us has a story about being a cancer survivor, and our next speaker has been very forthright in sharing hers and seeking positive action. Please welcome, after that long motorcycle trip, Sandra Lee.
Today. We had a great time driving up here. A lot of people would be surprised that you can have a really good time on a motorcycle for over 300 miles, but we did, and we're so grateful to all of these riders who came with us, not just on this leg of the journey, but on the first leg of the journey. Andrew, I have to say, this was all his idea, and I'm not talking about the motorcycle ride. I'm talking about the bill. I'm talking about what he put together and submitted for the session this past January, working together on both sides of the aisle to bring it to light and to make it happen, driving across the finish line. I have to tell you, I had absolutely nothing to do with it other than I lived through the process of going through breast cancer. And now, thankfully, I am cancer-free because of early detection. So on this one, Andrew gets all the credit, as does the Senate and the Assembly for passing it. And that is exactly the right move. Not only is it the right move for the women in this state, it's the right move for families and women in every state. So I say to all the governors across America, please look at this bill. Please take the health of the women and the families in your state to heart and make sure that they can get their breast exams without any cost. Make sure that they have time after work and on weekends to take advantage of the hospitals and the clinics and free mammograms. And I want to thank all of you for your well wishes and your prayers. I know there were a lot of them coming from Buffalo. The Lieutenant Governor shared many of them with me. Thank you. And on that note, again, thank you for coming out. Thank you for your support. And I'd like to introduce you to the most wonderful man in this state, Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Well, you see how nice Sandra Lee was to me. Do you know why? I just endured 500 miles of a backseat driver like you have no idea. Literally. Redefine backseat driver. I never thought of it for a motorcycle. Move left, move right, make the radio louder, make the radio lower, slow down, speed up. Oh, I just want to get off that motorcycle. And when you're in the front, you really can't respond. You know, because the words go right back in your face. It's like talking to yourself. Let's give Sandy a big round of applause. Jackie, thank you for sharing your story and for all you do for the community. Thank you. Your dynamic mayor who's just knocking the ball out of the park every time he gets up to bat. Byron, it's a pleasure to be with you. And Kathy Hochul is just doing a great job all across the state as you and she will. You know, you are here here every day, and I come and go. It is amazing, the change in this city. And I don't know that you feel it, but this canal side, if I had described this to anyone 10 years ago, they would have said it was impossible. But you feel it throughout the entire city. You feel resurgence, you feel a renaissance, you feel a new energy, you see a smile. It is a beautiful thing, and congratulations to all of you for remaking Buffalo into a world-class city. God bless you for what you do. Before we talk about the purpose of today, the past few days have been unfortunate and ugly days for this nation. And there's no doubt that over the past few months, there's been a tension, there's been an anger in the air, there's been a frustration. But what we have seen over these past few days is truly frightening. You look at what happened in Louisiana and that violence, you look at what happened in Minnesota, and then Dallas yesterday, 12 police officers deliberately shot. It is as frightening as it gets, because the only thing this country has to worry about is itself. The only person who can defeat this country is this country. It's only Americans who can hurt America. And what they are doing, what the hate mongers are doing, what the negativity is doing, is it's taking our strength, which is our diversity, and it's trying to make it a weakness, and it's trying to divide us when we are all about unity. It is a fight that each of us has to lead in their own way. We are proud as New Yorkers to be the laboratory for the American experiment in democracy. We know diversity like very few states know diversity. We're the welcome mat to the nation, and we are proud of it. And we are proud that we have people from all across the globe. And we make one community out of people from all across the globe. So we have no patience for the racial divisions and for the violence that we've been seeing. The other thing we know is that the people in this country are at their best when things are at their worst. And these past few days have brought us near a point where things are at their worst. Another monument to this nation when things were at their worst is the 9/11 site. And we're going to light the One World Trade Center building tonight at the 9/11 site, red, white, and blue, as a reminder to this nation that we are not black, white, and brown. We are red, white, and blue, and those are the only colors that matter. To one of my colleagues from Albany, we finished the legislative session, which goes from January to June. We had a very productive one. I think when the dust settles, they're going to see it as one of the most productive sessions that the state has ever had, and we did a lot of good things. We cut taxes for the middle class to the lowest level in 70 years, believe it or not, to give hardworking New Yorkers a break. We invested more in education than ever before in history, more in economic development. But now that Buffalo, what number did you use, man? $5.6 billion? I don't think Buffalo needs any more money after I think we'll put some of that money back in the bank, but we're going to fund more economic development across upstate New York because it is working. Upstate is turning around. Unemployment is about half what it was just 6 years ago. It is a renaissance all across upstate New York. So we did a lot of good work. But one of the initiatives I'm most proud of all time is what we're talking about today, because this is going to save lives. There is no state in the nation that has passed a piece of legislation like what we have done for breast cancer. And sometimes talking about good things coming from bad situations. Sandy went through a hellacious year. As Jackie, as has 15,000 women in this state every year. 15,000 new cases of breast cancer every year, and they just keep adding up. And dealing with breast cancer for the woman is terrible. Dealing with breast cancer for the family is terrible. And it is life-changing. And you wonder, why did God do this? Why Sandy's case, no family history, she's a young woman? Why put someone through this? Why all this pain? But I believe everything for a reason, and I believe there's a force bigger than us. Otherwise, none of this makes sense. And I had a heck of an education myself going through it with Sandy. And one of the first things the doctor said to us when he was talking about the diagnosis never left me. He said, well, Sandy was lucky because she was diagnosed early. And when you're diagnosed early, it's a different situation. And I looked at the numbers, and it is a dramatically different situation whether you are detected early or late. And it can literally be the difference of life and death, whether it's early or late. But what he said was, she's lucky that we found it early. And I remember saying to myself, why should it be a matter of luck? Why should anyone be unlucky? Why don't we just make sure everyone gets tested and screened early? So everyone catches it, and it's always early. You know, this is the state of New York. We can do anything. Why don't we make sure we always catch it early? And any woman who develops breast cancer, we're going to find it early. So we spent time trying to find out what the obstacles were. About 40% of the women who should be getting screened don't get screened. 40%. That is a frightening number. And in asking women what were the obstacles, basically it came down to the usual two: time and money. They don't have the time, they're raising families, they're working, they're busy, and the hospitals and the clinics are closed when they are available. This law changes the hours of operation of hospitals and clinics. Every hospital, every clinic has to be open 4 more hours per week after 5 o'clock and on weekends. And the second obstacle was money, because New Yorkers now have health insurance, but you still have to pay a deductible or a copay, or you have a lump sum annual deductible, but people still pay. And the economy is very tough. And I can't tell you how many women said to me, you know what, I don't want to spend my family's money on a test that I'm not sure that I need, because the economic pressures are that real. What this piece of legislation does is it forces the insurance companies to waive any co-payment or deductible payment, so the screenings are 100% free to the women, and any follow-up testing that comes from the screening is also done free. So, there is no reason not to be screened. The hours are changed, it'll be done at your convenience, there's no cost, there is no reason not to be screened. And that's what today is all about. Government has done everything it can. I'm so proud of this law. One of the nice things about the state of New York is when you pass a law, it helps New Yorkers. And it also is very often a model for the nation. I can't tell you how many laws we passed that now went all across the country when they saw what we did. This is going to be one of those laws, and it should be one of those laws, because women all across the nation should go to their government and say, why don't you do the same thing they did in New York? change the hours, and make the insurance companies actually pay for a service rather than just get premium. So I'm excited about this. But the first step still has to be that the women come forward and go for the screening. Government has its limitations. And this is all about trying to get out the word. We sat on that motorcycle for 500 miles. I got directions every half hour what I was doing wrong. I bit my tongue for 500 miles. I can barely talk, I bit my tongue so long. A woman said to me 2 days ago, she saw me on the motorcycle, she said, you know, I don't think governors are supposed to ride motorcycles. I said, really? She said, yeah, I've never seen a governor on a motorcycle before. I said, good. Did it get your attention? She said, yes. I said, that's exactly the point. That is exactly the point. We have to get the message out to women, get screened. Husbands should tell wives, sisters should tell sisters, sons should tell their mother, friends should tell friends. Get screened, please. It can literally be the difference in life and death. And let's make this state a model state where a fatality from breast cancer is a thing of the past and not a thing of the future. I want to thank all the riders. We had hundreds of motorcycle riders out there who went through a thunderstorm, who got drenched, who got dried in the sun. Sam Roberts, our commissioner from Otada, 500 miles and still smiling. I want to thank all the police that helped us, the Erie County Sheriff, the Buffalo Police, the Amherst Police, and the State Police who did a fantastic job. God bless you. Thank you for helping us get the message out.
Thank you once again for joining us. I also noticed that we are joined by our City of Buffalo Controller. Mark Schroeder was also here, and the President of Erie Canal Harbor Corporation, Robert Joy, is here as well. Thank you for joining us. Governor, because you and Sandra took that 500-mile victory lap, we are on the road to victory over breast cancer in the state of New York. And for that, generations going forward from now will always be grateful and reflect on this day. When we took on breast cancer, we said, we will get screened, we will reduce deaths, we will increase people with cures, and you made a huge difference in the lives of people in the state of New York. So on behalf of everyone, Governor, we are grateful to you and Sandra for making this journey today. Thank you for joining us.